Good morning. So we'll start a new chapter in chemistry, second chapter in your book, that is matter around us pure? So we studied about matter in the first chapter, that is matter in our surroundings. Yes, that was our first chapter of chemistry and we studied about matter. We studied basically physical properties of matter in the first chapter, matter in our surroundings. And we also understood that when we understood what is matter, so a substance which has a mass and occupies space is called as matter. We classify matter in terms of their physical properties and chemical properties, right? And in first chapter, we studied about its physical properties only. And we also discussed that about its chemical properties, we'll be discussing it in the next chapter. So in this chapter, is matter around us pure? We will be discussing about all chemical composition, that is chemical properties of matter, and we will understand, is matter around us pure? What does this sentence mean? Is matter around us pure or it is impure? So we are discussing something about pure matter and impure matter. So we all know what is a matter. Anything or a substance which has mass and occupies space is called as a matter. We broadly classify this matter here in terms of chemical composition on the basis of pure substance and impure substance. Correct? Now, you all have seen in market, if you go to buy a salt, what is written on the salt? Pure iodized salt. Correct? You go to buy a ghee, it's written pure cow's ghee or pure ghee. You go to buy milk, it is written as pure milk. True, it is pure in that particular form. But actually, if you go to see what pure milk we are buying, it is not actually pure. That comes under impure substance of matter. What pure salt or what pure ghee you are talking about, does it come under pure substance of matter or impure substance of matter? What is actually a pure substance and impure substance in terms of chemistry? That means it is not that what drinking water I get in my house, if it is clean, it is pure. If it is not clean, it is impure. It's according to our physical, what we see it, correct? But according to the chemical composition, there we classify water is pure or impure based on its composition here. In chemistry, the composition of a particular matter will tell us that whether the substance is pure or impure. So, we classify matter on terms of pure substance and impure substance. So, here we are classifying based on its chemical composition. Okay, not physically what we get to see, right? So, what is a pure substance? A substance which consists of one type of particle are called as pure substance. Now, when I tell definition wise, the concept might not be clear. Now, as and when I go on explaining, I go on giving examples, you actually understand what is pure substance and what is impure substance. So, a substance which consists of one type of particles are called as pure substance, and a substance which consists of two or more type of particles are called as impure substance. Now, let us see some example. Copper, oxygen, carbon dioxide, water, pure water. So, okay, water will consider. These all will come under pure substance. Now, you might be asking, now how copper? Now, suppose if you have a copper wire, what is the composition of the copper wire? Copper and only copper, correct? There is nothing else mixed in that, right? It's only pure copper. What is the composition of oxygen? It is pure only oxygen. Only oxygen, one type of particle. Okay, understood. So, copper and oxygen will come under pure substance. Now, when I talk about carbon dioxide and when I talk about water, there is a combination of hydrogen and oxygen. That means I am combining two things here. Then how is it termed as pure? Let's understand. Suppose if I take a glass of water, right? What is the composition here? It looks like a water. That means hydrogen and oxygen are gelled with each other, mixed with each other. The composition what looks like here is only of water, right? There is no other anything present here. Amount of hydrogen and amount of oxygen, when we add it, we get water. Similarly here, when we talk about carbon dioxide gas, when we talk, it's only a carbon dioxide gas, carbon with oxygen, nothing else is present in that. That is why we term this under pure substance. You will understand as and when I proceeded. Now the examples what I talk about in pure substance, just see here. Tea, sand water, sugar solution, lemonade, all these are impure substance. Why? Now when I talk about tea, is the composition of all the elements equal? No, it has different composition. Sand water. When I give you sand water, you can tell this is water, this is sand. Something is mixed in it, right? Sugar solution. Though sugar solution looks like the same, but still it has some particles in it. It is in the same thing. Lemonade is also same thing. I am not composing or I am not mixed. Now water, when we talk, it is only water. There is nothing else in that. Now carbon dioxide, when we talk, it's only carbon dioxide. When I talk about tea, there are so many other things. When I talk about sand water, two or three mixture. Because sand is again a mixture of something else. Sugar solution, lemonade. That means we have more composition here. Again, if I have to tell you here is, now when I talk about pure substance, all elements and compounds will fall under pure substance. Now, you know what are elements, you know what are compounds. It's already been done in your lower classes. Now, what are elements? Elements are the smallest particle or the smallest atom, what we can say, which further cannot be divided. It's called as an element. Here, copper is an element, oxygen is an element, carbon is an element, hydrogen is an element, right? What is a compound? Two or more elements combine together to form a compound. That means I combine carbon and oxygen, I get carbon dioxide. I combine hydrogen and oxygen, I get water, right? That means pure substance is a combination of elements and compound. I define what is an element once again. A smallest particle which cannot be further divided is called as an element. Compound, two or more elements combine together to form a compound. That means pure substance are the substance which are the combination of elements and compounds. Now is it very clear why water is a pure substance and why carbon dioxide is a pure substance? Okay. Now, impure substance, when I talk about, all mixtures will come under impure substance. Now mixture is not what we get in our bakery or in the stores. Like the mixture here in chemistry, when we talk about, it is when two or more compounds combine together, they form a mixture. Now I can say air is a mixture of gases. Why? Air has, for which all gases air will have? Air will have carbon dioxide, air will have oxygen, air will have nitrogen, air will have some traces of argon, etc. Many gases. That means it has compound, it has element also, right? That means it is a mixture of two or more compounds, which is called as a mixture. Now, why lemonade is a mixture? I add lemon, I add water, I add salt, I add sugar. Now here when we talk about salt is a compound. Yes, why? Because salt is combination of a sodium and a chlorine. Sodium chloride, when we say about formulas and all, you did not break your head. We will be doing it in atoms and molecule chapter. Sodium chloride is a common salt. Now sodium and chlorine, it's a compound. That means mixture, when two or more compounds combine together, they form a mixture. Now that means all impure substances examples are mixture, or all mixtures are the examples of impure substance. Now sand, water. Sand is a composition of so many things. Water is a compound. A compound plus compound will give me a mixture. Okay. Element plus element will give me compound. So element is a pure substance, compound is a pure substance. Two compounds are mixed together, I am getting a mixture. That is why a impure substance. Now will you understand about what are pure substance? Remember, in exam if any question comes, identify or pick out the pure substance from the given following. Always remember that. Pick out elements and compounds, those are pure substance. Pick the impure substance from the given list or anything in that. Make sure that all mixtures you have to pick out and those are impure substance. Right? Yes. So, few more information about this. When we spoke about elements, now elements are further classified as metals, non-metals and metalloids. You study this in your 10th standard. So, example of metals could be iron, copper, all these things. Non-metals could be oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, etc. Metalloids means a combination of a metal as well as non-metal, germanium, silicon, etc. You don't have anything in this year chapter, but you should just know what are metals, non-metals and metalloids. That is where elements we classify, right? Now we'll move on to the impure substance. So here in impure substance, or you can say your whole chapter what we study is all about impure substance only. That means we study most of the mixtures in this chapter. How we separate them, how do we get them, what are the composition. We are studying about that. So mixtures when we classify or we bifurcate, we again bifurcate that in terms of homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. Now you know what is the meaning of homogeneous and what is a mixture of heterogeneous. Now I can say homogeneous have only one phase and heterogeneous have more than one phase or two phases. Now what do you mean by one phase? For example, if I take sugar solution, it has only one phase. That means when I mix sugar and water, I stir it, I get one solution. Only one phase because I do not get to see any other thing in that. It has mixed it, so it is a one phase. Now if I take sand and water, it has two phases. Why? Because sand will not mix or sand will not dissolve in it. So it will settle down and you can see the layer of not clear water in that, right? So water and sand, it has two phases. Or we can say homogeneous mixture, a mixture which dissolves, or a pure things which get dissolved in it easily. So no residue is left is called as a homogeneous mixture. A solution in which a residue is left, it's called as a heterogeneous mixture. We will be discussing about homogeneous and heterogeneous, what are its properties in detail. But before that, you should know the difference between compound and mixtures. After that, we will go with homogeneous and heterogeneous and its properties, definition, examples in depth. So, let's understand this. Mixtures and compounds. So, some differences I have written. Elements or compounds just mix together to form a mixture. No new compound is formed. Compound, elements react to form a new compound. Now, for example, if I take an example of mixture here, I will take tea, right? And I will take an example here. Hydrogen plus water will give me, hydrogen plus oxygen will give me water, right? Now that means here it is giving me water. Now first of all, let us understand. Elements or compounds just mix together to form a mixture. No new compound is formed. No new compound is formed. Then you can tell me, I am getting tea here. Of course, you get tea because you have added tea powder in it, tea leaves in it. That is why you got tea, right? Only if you boil sugar, you go on boiling, you will not get tea. That means you wanted to prepare tea, you have added tea leaves, you added sugar, milk, water, brought it to a boiling point, and then you have got the tea there, right? Now just come to this, elements react to form a new compound. Now hydrogen is something different, oxygen is something different, but you have got totally new compound, that is water. right? So a different compound is formed from hydrogen and water, hydrogen and oxygen. You did not know that when you mix hydrogen, two gases, hydrogen is a gas, oxygen is a gas. But what are you getting? H2O, that is water. You are getting a liquid, correct? Here, when you add these things, you get what you want actually. Now, tea you are adding, that is why. Tea powder you are adding, that is why you are getting tea, right? So, whatever compound you add, that compound will come out as a, or element will come out as a outcome. Now, sugar you have added, that is why, because it is giving a taste, it is giving a sweetness, right? Then you have added tea, so you are getting a tea. Elements or compound just mix together to form a mixture. No different compound is formed. Wherein here, complete new compound is formed. And mixture can have a variable composition, wherein compound should have a fixed composition. Now, I have to prepare a 1 cup of, I have started with tea, I will start with tea example only. Now, there is nowhere written I should add half a spoon, 1 spoon or 2 spoon of tea leaves for 1 cup of tea. It's according to my will and wish. I will add 2 spoons, I will add half spoon. But what is the byproduct? I will get tea at the end, correct? Even if I add half spoon, 1 spoon or 2 spoons, same with milk or sugar, what will I get at the end? I am going to get tea only. That means I can change the composition in the mixture. I need not fix with the composition what I have to add. But wherein here, in compound, there should be a fixed composition. That means I should always have 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. Only then I get water. What if I change the composition here? I will take 2 atoms of hydrogen and 2 atoms of oxygen. What will I get? I will get H2O2, which is nothing but hydrogen peroxide. Just imagine, I only increased 1 atom of oxygen. I got total new compound. I got hydrogen peroxide, right? That means here, if I want a particular compound, I should know the composition of it. We have to have a fixed composition. Otherwise, the compound byproduct will change. But not here. Got this point? Next one. Shows properties of the constituent substance in mixture. New substance has totally different properties. What does it mean? Now shows properties of the constituent substance means when the byproduct tea what I get, I have the sweetness because I added sugar. I added the tea powder which had all the ingredients in it. Assume that was a masala chai what we are preparing. It had ginger, tulsi, etc. So that flavor came out in a tea, correct? Why? Because I added those flavored materials and I got that as my byproduct with the same taste. Wherein here, you just see, hydrogen is a combustible substance, right? So, it is very dangerous. It can catch fire very easily. It is a highly combustible material. Oxygen is a supporter of combustion. That means, if you have to burn anything, hydrogen will support the combustion. Hydrogen will help in burning. That means this is a supporter of combustion. Water, it can put off the combustion, right? Now just imagine, hydrogen is a combustible material, it is highly inflammable, wherein oxygen is a supporter of combustion. The byproduct what you get can actually put off the combustion which is going on, right? Total different product what you have got. If I ask you properties of hydrogen, it is different. If I ask you properties of oxygen, it is different. Properties of water, it is again different, right? So, what constituent we use and what byproduct we get is totally different. That means, the property of hydrogen will not come in this, nor the property of oxygen will come in this. Totally H2O has a different, its own property only. That means, when we combine two elements and we get a compound, that compound will have its own property, not the property of what elements we have used it. Got my point? So here shows the properties of constituent substance in compound, new substance has totally different properties. Okay. Now the last point. Constituents can be separated by physical method and only by chemical or electrochemical reaction. Now what do you mean by this? Now here of course constituent can be separated by physical method. How do you separate the tea leaves from the tea? You actually use a saucer, right? It is not that you have to go to a factory, again do some techniques. No, it is very simple. Now don't ask me how do we separate lemonade. Of course yes, not possible. But all these mixtures what you have, if you have mixed accidentally rice and wheat, yeah, of course it will take time, but can you do hand picking method and separate it, right? That means all these mixtures we can do it by physical method, hand picking method, or by techniques what we can use as we separated tea leaves from tea. But compounds cannot be separated easily. It has to undergo some chemical reaction or certain electrochemical reaction. Now that means, you know that we can actually separate hydrogen from water or oxygen from water. That means through a particular process we can obtain hydrogen gas as well as we can obtain oxygen gas separately by electrochemical reaction, by a process. You study this in your 10th standard. That means a compound can be separated only through chemical reaction process, chemical reaction method, or by electrochemical reaction method. Those methods we don't study this year. We study it in your 10th standard. But these are the differences between a mixture and a compound. A very important question for 3 or 2 marks. Depending on the marks, you can write these points. But basically, you should know what points you are writing, right? So, this was about the differentiate between compound and mixture. So, in tomorrow's class, we will discuss about what actually are homogeneous and heterogeneous mixture. We'll see the properties, definition, also the difference between these two, and some other more interesting things. So in today's class, if you have any doubt, you can call on the same day of the video set. Thank you.